partition array such that maximum difference is k. So we are given with an integer array nums and an integer k. You may partition nums into one or more subsequents, right? It is not said that we only need to partition this into two subsequents. We can partition this into more subsequents, one or more subsequents, such that each element in nums appears in exactly one of the subsequences. That means if I have 2, 1, 3, I cannot use 2, 1 as a subsequence and then 3 and then 2 again here. Sorry, it won't be a subsequence. I can't use 2 comma 3, right? It is not allowed. Every element appears exactly once in subsequence, right? Return the minimum number of subsequents needed such that the difference between the maximum and minimum values in each subsequence is at most k. A subsequence is a sequence that can be derived from another sequence by deleting some or no elements without changing the order of the remaining elements. Now, the constraints are given as num's length will be till 1e5, that means 10 power 5. Now nums of I, the value of every element can be 1e5, right? And the k can also be 1e5. Now, right, they said and we need to return the minimum number of subsequents needed. So why should I worry about the subsequence values? What here, what it would be here, what it would be here and then here. Now I need a maximum element and a minimum element, a maximum element and a minimum element, right? Now you might say that minimum element, right? You are always placing this minimum element at the left. What do you mean? I mean, I am just sorting the subsequences every time. I'm just assuming that if I just sort those subsequences, then I might get the minimum element at the first and the maximum element at the last. Now you might say you just got the wrong order. Why? Because you just disrupted the order of the subsequence, right? You might say like that. But what I mean is, imagine I have a minimum element and a maximum element. Now just imagine I have an array x, y, z with max here and a min here. So this is a subsequence, right? Right, this is a subsequence. Now what I am doing is just sorting it. Now I would get minimum x, y, z and then maximum, where x is less than y is less than z, right? Or equal, right? So the minimum will be placed here and maximum will be placed here. So if I knew what should be the difference between the maximum and minimum is already said should not exceed k, and I need the subsequence should be as minimum as possible. I need minimum number of subsequence. Return the minimum number of subsequences, right? So let us see. Let us see by what it will be the subsequence for this. Now let me take 3 and let me take this 6. Can I take it? 6 is right. Okay, I take, let us see, right? If I take 6, I need to take a minimum element, right, which should be something like 4, so that I would get the difference of 2. So it won't work. Why? Because there is no 4 and there should be 5, but 5 should be the minimum element and 6 should be the maximum element, but 3 is the minimum element here, so it also doesn't work. Now for 3, what I can pick? I can pick 1 and I can pick this 2. Okay, I'm picking this one and then picking this 2. I just inserted it. Now the doubt is, why can't I take this 5? So if I take this 5, this will be the maximum element and this will be the minimum element. Now max minus minimum is giving me 4. It should not be 4, it should be less than or equal to k. So I should not take this 5. Instead, I stop at 2. Now, these 3 are picked. Now, I have 6. The other element is 5. Now, 5 and 6, the difference is 1. So, I can pick it. The max element is 6 and the minimum element is 5. So, 6 minus 5 is giving me 1. Now, what I said, I have a maximum element, I have a minimum element. Now, if I sort these subsequence 1, 2, 3, if I sort this 5, 6, it's just the nums sorted. Now, let us go to the another example for your clear explanation, right? So, I'm just taking this off from here. Okay, right? I'm just taking off this from here. Now, I have this for example 1. Now, let us go to the example 2 and let us see what happens there. Now, it is saying that k is equal to 1. That means the difference should not exceed 1. Now, let us take 1 and let me take 2. Why not 3? Why? Because if I take this 3, the max minus min will give me 2. It should not be. It should not be. K is equal to 1. That means the difference of max minus min should be less than or equal to K. So what I'll do, I just don't pick this 3 and stop the subsequence here. Now I'll pick this 3, right? So if I just sort every subsequence, it is 1 comma 2, sort the subsequence 3. So this is nothing but the sorted nums. Now it is saying that k is equal to 0. Now the difference between the maximum element and the minimum element should be 0. 2 comma 2, right? Why not 4? If I took 4 or if I take 5, this will be the maximum and this will be the minimum. Now the difference is 3, which it should not be. The difference should be equal to 0, right? Now let us see. 2 comma 2. Now 4. Can I take 5? No. Why? Because 5 minus 4 will give us difference of 1, which is not accepted. 5. Now this is nothing but sorted again. Now if you see here, I got this 2. I got this 2 here. I got this 2, right? Now when I got this 4, 4 minus 2 is giving me greater than k. So 4 minus 2 is greater than k. So this is forming another subsequence here itself. That means till here, I got the numbers such that this number minus the number which I am saying that this is calling it as previous. This number minus previous number is under the difference of k. Now, this number 4 minus this previous number is exceeding k. So what I'll do, I'll create another subsequence here. Now, there is another number 5. Now, if I got a number like 4, what I'll do, I'll just make it as my previous so that the minimum element which I am including in my subsequence is still 4. Now I go through the array which is sorted array. I'll just sort the array and I'll go through the array. Now the previous element is just 4. Now when I go to 5, it is saying that 5 minus previous is nothing but the minimum element. That means the minimum element I am including in this subsequence. Now if I include 5, can I include 5? So if I include 5, I'll go to the next element. When do I know that I can include 5? When 5 minus 4 is less than or equal to k, right? Nothing but nums of I minus previous should be less than or equal to k. Then I can include this element in my subsequence. If not, this will be again another subsequence. So I think you got it. So this will be another subsequence. Now let me just go through this example so that you can understand better. Right. So what I'll do is just start by sorting the array 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Now I'm initializing this is my previous. Let me change the color. Previous is equal to 1. Now let me go Let me go to 2. 2 minus 1. 2 minus 1 is less than or equal to k. Is it so? 2 minus 1 is 1. So, okay, I can go to the next element. 3. 3 minus 1. 3 minus 1 is less than or equal to k. 3 minus 1 is 2 is less than or equal to k. So, I can go to the next element. Now, I am going to 5. 5 minus 1 less than or equal to k? No. 5 minus 4, 5 minus 1 is 4 is not less than or equal to k. So what I'll do is just create another subsequence here. Right. Now, whenever I'm creating a new subsequence, what will be the minimum element? The minimum element is the element that is not forming the previous subsequence. Instead, it is the starting of a new subsequence, right? So 5 will be the minimum element. Instead, let me write it as previous element. So if I write the algorithm here, what I am doing. Now, you might be confused that when I get this element minus previous is not less than or equal to k, then I would increment my count. But here it is incremented for just one time, right? Why? Because I am initializing previous with nums of 0. It will be incremented for only one time. Count will be incremented for only one time. But I have two subsequences here, right? I have two subsequences here, right? Now how do I start? I start with count equal to 0. So count is equal to 0 and the previous, or let me also, you can also name it as mini, right? Minimum element is equal to nums of 0. Now, should I start with 0 in the for loop? No, absolutely no. But wait a second. I need to sort at the first. Sort nums. Now, for I is equal to 1 till n, if nums of I minus previous is greater than k, then increment the count and just change or update the previous to nums of I. So the for loop ended and return the count at the end. Now let us write in the code editor. First thing, sort. Sort nums dot begin nums dot end, right? Now after that, int n is equal to nums dot size, and then I have another things like count is equal to 1, previous is equal to nums of 0. Now for int I is equal to 1, I is less than n, I plus plus, sorry, I plus plus. If nums of I minus previous is greater than k, then increment the count and update the previous to nums I, then return the count at the end. Right. So let us just run the code first. Now I am submitting the code now. So if you like this explanation, do like the video and share to your friends and do subscribe to my channel. And if you have any doubts, please comment in the comment section. Thank you.